Okay, so as I said, in Oracle architecture we have completed the instance part. Okay, we have two parts: instance part, the memory part, and the database files part, right? So the instance part is completed. Now we are going to look into this database part. So mostly database part contains the files. What are the files? Control file, data file, read log files are the three major important files. Okay, without these files, we have an impact on the database. Okay, and the additional files like RQ log files, password files, network files, parameter files, and some alert log files, trace files, so on will be there. Okay, these are additionals. But coming to these three, the control file, redo log file, and data file are the most important. Okay, if you lost your control file, then the database will be stopped. Why? Because all the information is stored in this control file about our database. Okay, so redo log files also the same thing. If the redo log files are not present, okay, the database will work fine for that at particular time period. But if the database is crashed, unfortunately we can't recover the database to that particular point in time where the database was crashed. Okay, so this file is used for recovery purpose of the database. Data files are major files where the actual data is going to store or write. Okay, and the additional files like parameter files, password files, these I will explain you. Okay, first we will look into uh, control files. Okay, this control file is called the brain of our database. For Oracle database, the brain is like control file. Why? Because this control file holds all the information about our database. Okay, and this is a binary file. You can't read physical files. Okay, these all are stored in physical format, like in our Linux file systems. I will show you. So, okay, see how we can see the our file systems like df-h, right? See, these are all my file systems. Okay, cd slash prod under prod I have kept testdb. This is my database. Under testdb I have, see here, bob data dbf, armand dbf. These are my data files. Data files, how we can identify the data files or control files or redo log files or any other files means we have extensions. Okay, I'll tell you. Extensions to identify the database file structures. Okay, what are the extensions? See, all the extensions will start with a dot. Okay, all the extensions will start with a dot. So control file, the extensions will be like dot. Okay, ctl. If you find a file with .ctl, then you can call it as control file. Okay, no other file will be named as .ctl. Okay, if it is a redo log file, then the file extension should be like .log. Okay, .log. This is a bit different. Why? Because for backup related things also the files will be stored with .log only. Okay, but For this redo log file, we have a naming convention like redo 01.log. Okay, redo data 02.log. In this way, we will store actually in our database. Okay, so we can easily find out that this is a redo and this is the log file. Okay, and for data files, the extension is like .dbf. Okay, .dbf. And for rq log files, the extension is like .arc. Okay, .arc. And what are the other files? See, for alert log file, also the extension is .log. Why? Because that is a log file actually. Okay, all the log files will be stored, all the log files have the extension of .log. Okay, but the way of differentiate is like the naming conventions. Okay, depends upon the naming conventions, we will differentiate and we can identify what is that particular log. Okay, so this is the way we can identify. I think my files are not here, so wait. CLS here. Select start from $, control file. See, this is the path where my control file is stored, and the naming convention is like control01.ctl. See here .ctl. Okay, and the second one is like this is the other path. Okay, other path where my second control file is stored. See .ctl. The same way, so that start from $, data file. Sorry. $, data file. See, these all are my data files. How I am saying these are data files means, see, .dbf. This is with .dbf. This is with .dbf. This is with .dbf. This is with .dbf. Okay, in the same way we'll see redo log files. Describe $, log. Select group hash members. Describe $, log file. Select log. See here, this is my path where the log files are storing. Okay, this is the physical file path, and the naming convention is extension is like .log, and the naming convention is like redo 01.log, redo 02.log, redo 03.log. Okay, see there is a difference. And if you want to see the alert log, like show parameter background underscore dump. See here my file is there, cd issue01. cd ls-ltr clear. See this trc is there, right? This means these are trace files. Okay, this extension identifies the trace files. Trace files. This is one more extension is like dot trc. Okay, dot trc. I think in this location my alert log is not there. I think ls-ltr star dot log. Oh, cat. Okay, this is data from directory. Locate alert. Underscore slt dot log. Okay, so here is my alert log actually. U01 app Oracle diag RDBMS test-db trace alert ls-ltr star dot log. See, this is also the extension is with log, but how we can find differentiate the redo log files or with other log files means the naming convention. The naming convention for alert log always be start with alert underscore. This is the Oracle database name dot log. If you have thousands of database in our one server, single server, so each database has each alert log, right? So how it will be differentiate means always it will start with alert underscore only. There is no other naming convention. This is by default it will come along with the Oracle. So the alert underscore and after underscore this is our database. This is our database dot log. This is where we can find out. Okay. So this is about the extensions and so where we are. Yeah. So this control file is our brain of our database because all the database information is going to store or record in this control file, and this is a binary file. You can't able to read this file directly. See, these files will be stored physically in our file systems, as I said. Okay, they shown you clearly here. These files are storing in our physical file systems. What are the physical file systems? This U01 app, Oracle, Oradata, TestDB. These are all my physical on physical file system U01. These are all my directories. Under this directory, this file is storing physically, but we can't read this file. I'll show you. Where is my control file? In which location? See, this is my physical file path. TestDB. Okay. CD. I will clear the screen. See, now I am on my physical file system. Okay. ls-ltr. See, this is my file. To read or to view anything, we will use cat command. See what it is coming. See, this is a binary file, we can't read it. Okay, like this it will come. But if you log into the database, we can read only the type of files. What are the type of files or information is going to stored in this particular control file. Okay. We can't read the physical control file, but we can view what type of information is going to store in our control file. Okay, we can't read the physical control files, but we can view what type of information is going to store in our control file. Okay, how we can view? There is a view called uh, $control file. See, I'm logging into the database. We have to log into the database and we have to check for select distinct name from $control underscore record underscore section. Okay, 1 second. View the information control file. Control file record section. Okay, this control file. Select star from $control file. I written only control record section. Okay. Oh, sorry. Select star from $control file section. Set lines. See, around 41 columns are there. I mean, the information. What are the information it is showing? It is storing about the database. It is storing about the checkpoint progress, and it is storing about the data file information. It is storing about our redo log information, table space information, and backup information. Okay, this admin configuration information is for it is a backup utility tool. Okay, which we are going to use for taking the backups in Oracle database. So that configuration information also is storing in the control file. See, the log history it is storing, the archived logs is storing, backup set, backup pieces, all the backup information, and our data file information. Okay, and remaining. See, this is the SP file. Okay, and the database incarnation. Okay, these kind of see the data file history. All this kind of information is going to store in our control file. Okay, that's why this is called the brain of our database. If the control file is lost, okay, automatically the database will go into the shutdown. Okay, it won't work actually. So I'll write down here this query to view the information, type of information stored in our control file. Select star from v dollar control file underscore record underscore multiple section. Okay. Yes. And what kind of information is information about our data file information, user related information, backup information, and our redo log information. Okay. Database information, database creation, timestamp information. Okay, all this kind of information will be stored in our control file. Okay, so as I said, there is a risk like if our control file is got lost. Okay, what will happen to our database? The database will be shut down. Okay, it will be unusable. Without control file, we can't move anything in the database. Okay, so for that purpose, okay, what they have done means the Oracle done means okay, at least two control files should be maintained in our database. While creating a database, you have to maintain at least two control files in two different locations, not under a same location. Okay, for overcoming the situations like file corruptions, database disasters, and other failures, Oracle strongly recommends to maintain at least at least two copies of control file in two different situations. Sorry, locations. Okay, two different locations. And what are the things happening in the database level? These two files will write in parallel. Okay, there is no active passive method. Both are in active mode only. Okay, so if you keep it in two different locations, or if you created 3 or 4 copies, okay, those all copies will be in active state and it will write the same thing. Okay, the same information will write. So this method of maintaining or creation of control files are called multiplexing. We call it as multiplexing. Multiplexing means nothing but maintaining 2 or 3 copies of the file. Okay, that is called multiplexing. And let me check. So see, control files. The control file in Oracle is a small binary file necessary for database to start and operate successfully. Okay, Each control file is associated with only one Oracle database. For each database has one control file. Before a database is opened, the control file in Oracle is read to determine if database is valid state to use. Why? Because this control file holds our data file information, read log information, right? And the other database information. That's why this control file is required. This control file is required to start our database. That is what it is saying. Okay. The control file records the physical file locations and other details. Okay. As I shown you, the control file will record all the physical files, locations and other details. That means where is the data file? Okay. Where is this read log file resides? All this physical information is going to stored in our control file. That is what the line is uh, saying. Okay, the control file records the physical file locations and other details. Physical file locations means that particular data file's physical location, that particular read log file's physical location. Okay, and the other details like what is the character set of this database. All this information will be stored. The control files is the main root file for the database, which find all other files used by Oracle database. Okay, this is also saying the same thing, that this is the file where the database related data files and read log files is stored and with their locations. Okay, finds all other files used by Oracle database. Due to the importance of control file, Oracle recommends multiplexing of control file, as I said before. Okay, that means during database creation, we have to maintain two copies. If you are doing manually, you have to maintain two copies of control file. If you are trying to create a database using DBCA method, that means automatic method using this DBCA, database configuration assistant utility, okay, then by default Oracle will create two copies of control files and keep synchronized with each other. Okay, if any control file is missing, then database becomes unavailable, as I said. But don't worry, if you have a copy of the control file, then just shut down the database and recreate the missing control file from the copy of the control file. Okay, this I will cover it in recovery class. Okay, so just take it into your mind that we have two copies. We have two copies of control file. As I said, if control file is lost, database will go on, right? So if you maintain two or more than two copies, whenever one file got lost or corrupted, we can simply shut down our database. Always the database will be shut down. We have to shut down and the instance will be up and running. Database will be shut down, but the instance will be up and running. So we have to shut down cleanly. Then we have to go to that particular location, and what is the corrupted file is there, we have to remove that file and replace with the other copy. Okay, replace with the other copy, and we can bring up the database easily. See, the control file contains information such as database name, timestamp of database creation. Here timestamp is nothing but time. Okay, time and date of the database when it was created. Okay, that particular time will be stored. Names and locations of associated data files and read log files. Table space information, log history, archived log information, backup sets, that means backup information, data file copy information, current log sequence, last SCN, last checkpoint, arm and repository conversion, and the parameters. And the parameters like max log file, max members, max instance. I will explain you this while creating the database manually. Okay. So this is the information which it contains in control file. Yeah. See here, the explanation is like the database name and timestamp originated database creation. The database name is taken from either the name specified by db underscore name parameter, db underscore name initialization parameter, or the name used in the create database statement. Okay. Each time the data file or read log file is added, to or renamed in or dropped from the database, the control file is going to update. Okay, if you are going to remove these data files, okay, if what are the things we are trying to do for the data files or redo log files, those information will be updated in a timely manner into this control file. Okay, see, come on now. Select name from p dollar data file. See, if you modify anything for in this particular data files, or if you remove any of the data file, okay, or if you are rename any data file, then all the information will reflect in our physical files, right? That information also will be stored automatically into the control file. Okay, so that's why whenever we make any changes to any of the files, okay, then this we have to take the backup of the control file. Why? Because the latest information, like the modifications which are done, those information will be stored in control file. So in order to maintain the latest information in the control file, we have to take the backup. These changes are recorded so that Oracle database can identify the data files and redo log files to open during database startup. That means why I am saying to take the copy of the control file means, see, now we are doing at this particular point in time like 10:10. Okay, 10:10 I'm doing some modifications, like I'm removing some data files from the database, and I'm inserting some data into the data file, and I'm renaming some data files in the database. Okay, so at 10:11 or 10:12, okay, my database was crashed due to some hardware failures or some software corruptions or some manual interruptions, like some user junior DBA, okay, removing some files. Instead of removing other files, he removed the control file or something, he removed. Okay, so the database was crashed. At that point of time, okay, if you want to bring back the database to the point in time like 10:10, what are the modifications which I have done at this particular time 10:10? Okay, simply we can restore the control file from the backup location, and we can bring up the database at this particular point in time like 10:10. So all the modifications which are taken place in the database for these data files at this particular 10:10, at 10 a.m., okay, 10 hours and 10 minutes, okay, I can bring back the database to that particular point in time. So my database will be safely restored and we can use it. Okay, so for that purpose we are taking the backup of the control file whenever modifications was taken place on the data files or redo log files. Okay, so Oracle, these changes are recorded so that Oracle database can identify the data files and redo log files to open during database startup. Oracle database can identify files that are required or available in case of database recovery is necessary. See, Oracle database can identify files that are required or available in case if database recovery is necessary. Therefore, if you make a change to physical structure of your database, okay, then you should immediately make a backup of your control file. This is the point. If you make changes to physical structure of your database, physical structure of your database means nothing but these physical copies, the data files which are stored in the physical drives. Okay, if you make any changes to that information, then automatically we have to take this control file backup. That is mandatory. Okay, control files also record information about checkpoints. Okay, as I said, what is the checkpoint? Okay, Checkpoint will record the information in the control file about checkpoint positions in the redo log. That means whenever a redo log file is filled up, then checkpoint will tell to the DB writer that the particular modified data is already recorded in the redo log file. So you can store it to the physical disk files. So that checkpoint, what checkpoint will do? Checkpoint will store the SCNs on control file headers and data file headers. Okay, in architecture level, I said what is checkpoint, right? So that is what here showing. That means the control files also record information about the checkpoints. That means SCNs. This information is used during database recovery to tell the Oracle database that all redo entries recorded before this point in redo log group are not necessary for database recovery. They were already written to data files. Okay, this information will be stored for database in control file used for database recovery purpose. And the control file views is like see v dollar control file, v dollar database, v dollar parameter, v dollar control file record section, show parameter control files. Okay, the control file extension as .ctl. The file name for the control file is like this control underscore files. This is the parameter file, installation parameter file. So based on this installation parameter file, we will mention our control file locations. Okay, I said what multiplexing, like as per Oracle recommendation, each and every Oracle database should have at least two control files, and each control file stored on a separate disk. I said right. For overcome these situations like file corruptions or database disasters, Oracle strongly recommends to maintain at least two copies of control file in two different locations. This method of maintaining or creation of control files are called multiplexing. Okay, that is the statement here. What is the purpose? Purpose means in the future, if the control file is lost or damaged due to disk failure or any other reasons, then the associated database instance must be shut down. Once the disk is repaired, then just make a copy of existing control file from another disk, then you can start your database instance. In this type of case, no media recovery is required. So this is the purpose of multiplexing. Multiplexing means simply maintaining the copies of control file in different locations. Okay, this is the syntax. This is not clear. See, this is the syntax of a control file. That means this is the structure. How we are going to create a control file means see using create command, followed with the control file. Why? Because you are creating control file. So for create you have to say that it is a file called name control file. So create control file. Two options here it will come. If you are trying to create a new control file, then you have to use set database name. Okay, set database, the database name for which database you are trying to create a control file. Log file. Okay, that means the redo log file names, and data file, the data file names along with the locations and the character set. Okay, this is the format. And this max log files, max log members, max log history, max data files, max instances, arclog or no arclog is there, right? What it means max log files means how many log files it should maintain. Max log members in the sense, in this log file we have n number of files will be there, so those files are called log members. How many members for each file? Max data files, how many data files we have to maintain in our database? Max instance, max instance means our database machine. Okay, how many instances? Obviously one. Why? Because this is a single instance mode. Okay, so this is the structure. This we will look into later while creating the database. Okay, don't bother about now. So as I said, for creating a new database, we have to use set command. Already the database is existing and the control file is lost, we have to recreate a control file means then we can use the command reuse. Okay, recreating control file. At what situations we have to recreate the control file? You should only recreate your control file under the following circumstances. Like all current copies of the control file have been lost or corrupted. Okay, any of the control files, if you are maintaining, for example, if you are maintaining 3 copies of control file and all copies were lost, okay, then what we will do? Obviously we can't restore. Why? Because there is no files in our database, control files in our database. Then what we'll do? Simply we will recreate the control file. At that time you have to copy the same control file details, and instead of set you have to use reuse command. Control create control file, reuse, database name, no reset logs, arclog. This option I will tell you later. Okay, in recoveries part. And the max log files, how many log files? 16 log files I have to maintain. Max log members 3, that means each log file has a member of 3. Max data files 100. Max instances are like 8. Max log history like 292. Okay, and this log file, this is the group 1, this is the group 2, this is the group 3. This group 1, group 2, group 3 is the members and the data files and character sets. uh, I don't know you people can able to see or not. Okay, character set. See, we have different types of character sets. Okay, depends upon the Oracle editions, these character sets will be vary. Okay, so for this we are using this character set. The character set is an encoding system to let database know how to recognize character, including letters, numbers, punctuation marks, and white spaces, everything. To understand these type of details, we are using this character set. Okay, this is how we are going to recreating our control file. I'll show you practically also how to recreate all these things. Okay, don't worry. See, these are the options we are going to use in our control files. Like reuse. Reuse means specifies that one or more existing control files specified in init.vara file can be reused and overwritten. If this keyword is omitted and if any of the control files named init.vara exist, an error will result. That means what it is saying, while recreating a control file, if you miss to uh, miss to keep this reuse option, and if you simply create the data file, then what will happen is simply if the same name, that means see, you are recreating a control file for the database v11. Okay, so you have one more copy in your parameter file with v11. Then if you miss this reuse command, okay, then it will conflict. Then it will conflict with the other file with the database name called v11, and it will throw error like already the file is exist kind of errors it will throw. So to overcome those things, we have to use reuse. Set. Set means, as I said, whenever you want to create a control file, new control file, then you have to use set. Specifies that supplied DB name will be the new name of the database. Valid names are 1 to 8 characters long. This is just a this thing. Okay. See, set means you are saying to the control file that this is the database name, and for this database, this is the control file. That is how you are going to set. And the database. specifies the name of the database. Unless you use the set command, this must be current name of the database. Okay. Log file. That means you are saying to set a database, right? See, simple. In general English, like, okay, you are going to saying you are going to say to the database that create. That means you are going to create something. What is the something called? Control file. You are going to create a control file with okay set. For this control file, you have to set a database name. What you have to set? Either you have to set a database or any files or any other things you are mentioning here. You are saying that set database. Okay. So now it is simply pointing that it is a database. And what is the database name? And the database name is like something something. Okay, like V11, V12 or something. This is the how we are going to set. Okay, and the log file. That means you are pointing to your log files. Reset logs, no reset logs, I will explain you later. And the max log file members. That means how many number of log files should be maintained in our database. That it is pointing. Okay. Yeah, that's all about control file. Okay, this is about our control file. Tomorrow I will discuss about the data files and redo log files. Data file is a little bit big concept. Okay, we'll see this in tomorrow section. And what else is there? Yeah, redo logs. Redo logs also will look into this one. Okay. Okay, I will share this video in our drive. Okay, you can go through it, and if you have any doubts, please let me know.